Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm just going to get straight into this video because this has just been something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and honestly I just kept putting it off because I didn't really know how to say it. I recently got diagnosed with ADHD and for the first time in my life so many things make sense. It's such a strange feeling, but yeah. For the longest, I thought I was just really scattered, always overwhelmed, always in my own head. I'd get so excited to start new things and then lose interest just as fast. My mind was always racing, but I never really felt present. I was constantly bouncing between ideas, tabs, to-do lists, and just any hobby that I found interesting. But it would never last, you know? Somehow I always felt behind. The wild part is I was also a perfectionist. I could spend hours obsessing over the tiniest thing, but I never really felt like it was enough or like I was enough. I just assumed it was burnout, or I just needed better discipline, like a schedule or routine. I just kept thinking maybe if I try harder, even though I was trying and doing everything I can, you name it, try a new hobby every month, therapy whenever I'm feeling down, self-help books, journaling, literally the entire lot. I would wake up earlier to try and get my life together. You know, all of the usual self-help things that are out there and that people suggest to do that are meant to like motivate you, but they were just temporary fixes for me. They'd resolve the issue for a short amount of time and then I'd be back to where I started. Then I met people who have ADHD. They mentioned things, small things, but it really hit close to home. Things like constant mental noise, time blindness, forgetting basic things but remembering the most randomest things from like 2017, getting emotionally overwhelmed over things that may seem minor to some people, needing complete silence just to send an email or to function or have a phone call. At first I thought, yeah, that sounds relatable, you know. But then what they were saying started to make a lot of sense and I couldn't help but see the patterns. I went down a rabbit hole, TikTok, YouTube videos, Reddit, articles, threads, and honestly it was like someone was describing my brain back to me. Even so, I did all of this, but I still kept second guessing myself because it's not like I haven't been to therapy. I've been to therapy the past 13 years of my life. You know, I go back every like 2 years or so just to go over things and just talk about things. And they've always said it's my anxiety and depression. So I never really questioned it as such. So I did second guess myself a lot. Yeah, I just kept thinking maybe I'm just looking for an excuse. Maybe everyone feels this way. Like, surely this is what burnout feels like, right? But deep down, I kind of knew. I'd spent so many years masking years of being very high functioning on the outside while mentally just running on fumes. Yeah, so last month I booked an ADHD assessment. Honestly, the whole time I just thought, oh, I probably don't have it, like probably just wasting my money and we're gonna get nowhere with this. But I will talk about the whole process of my assessment, how much it cost, who I went with, because I do highly recommend them. They're so quick. I booked my ADHD assessment within 2 days and then had my assessment and my medication was with me 2 days later. So I would highly recommend them if you do want to get diagnosed quicker, but I'll do that in another video because I'll talk about the meds and the whole process of it and the application, what you have to fill out, what family members or your friends have to fill out on your behalf as well. But I'll do that in depth in another video. And I'll talk about why I went private rather than going through the NHS, just so it's easier to absorb for you guys, if that makes sense. But yeah, like the result was I have ADHD. And when he told me, I was surprised, a bit confused, because I didn't really know how to process it, because a part of me just thought maybe I was just showing signs, but I didn't really have it. But like within the first 20 minutes, it was like, yeah, like it's definitely sounding like you have ADHD. And towards the end, when we went through my test results and he broke it down for me, yeah, it was just a confirmed diagnosis. I pretty much have a combined type. It's both inattentive and hyperactive behaviour. So I'm on both ends of the ADHD spectrum when it comes to diagnosing. So yeah, like I wasn't imagining it. I wasn't broken. My brain just works differently. And I cried a lot that day when I got my results. I don't know, I think it was a mixture of relief. I think I was really sad for my younger self, and there was a sense of relief there too, because I felt like, okay, there's like an answer to how I've been feeling. Like I can read up and research and learn all about it and figure out how to help myself and my brain. And like at the same time, I felt seen by someone who understood me, which was such a weird feeling. It was like someone had handed me like a missing piece of the puzzle that I didn't even know I was trying to solve. There's grief too. There still is. I'm still slowly navigating it and processing these things, because I guess it does take time. Yeah, but I think I felt grief for the younger version of myself who was just so hard on herself, without knowing or having context behind what it could have been. And like the times where I tried with therapy and consistently tried to be a better version of myself, to heal through my problems, and it just felt like nothing was ever picked up. And I think that really sat heavy with me, and it still does, because it wasn't like I was ignorant to it. I actually tried, so I think that's what really hurt and upset me a lot. For all the times that I thought I was lazy, or told I was too dramatic or too emotional or too sensitive, and when I felt like not good enough because of the way I am and how I can be emotional. And I guess that's always been like an insecurity in some way. Just with that. But yeah, like, when you just look back and you just like, damn, like this was the reason to it all. And even in relationships, like it's shown up and people have said things where it really sticks. And I think that's the hard part to try and process and move on. And for me to kind of be like, okay, like it wasn't just me, it was just my brain and how I process things and how I function. And it wasn't just, it wasn't just all like me, basically. So yeah, just a weird thing to kind of overall sit back and really take in and dissect and like process it. Yeah. But since then, I've started medication. I'm slowly unpacking all the ways ADHD has shown up in my life, and I'm learning to be more honest about what I need, instead of always pushing myself to keep up or telling myself that I'm not good enough, or just putting that unprecedented pressure on myself. But I just, I didn't want this to be something that I go through quietly, because if I had had someone talk about this earlier, I probably would have recognized it in myself sooner. Yeah, I guess that's why I want to talk about it with you guys, and hope that it helps at least one of you feel like you're not crazy, or feel like, why can everyone else function and I can't? Like, what is it about me that I can't do what everyone else is? And like, even though people are telling me you know, maybe you need a routine, maybe you need structure. It's like, yeah, I'm doing all those things, but I'm still going back into this loop of like these intense feelings and emotions and just, you know, energy. So, and this lack of self-worth and self-doubt and this whole loop of bullshit that comes with it. I know how difficult it is, and I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone in this, because I completely get it, you know, and it's really strange, but now that I'm on meds, like it gives me so much more clarity, and like it's helping me see things in a different light. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, but it's something that's helping right now for me. So who knows, I might come off of it, I don't know. But I will take you guys on this journey. Like I wanted to start this video series, and I think of it as like a little get ready with me meets my mental health diary. I've been doing my skincare and makeup, just talking through the process and breaking it down for you guys so it's easier to digest. I know how it feels to be overwhelmed with information, so I just want to break it down so it's easier to process, especially with something as important as like ADHD. And to finish this video off, I just want to say that this is my experience with ADHD. It can look completely different in other people, especially across gender. I mean, women, ADHD in women is just such a recent thing, like hormonal imbalances, things like that. It just really affects it, which I'll talk about more on. But yeah, different ages deal with it differently. Yeah, your background, you know, if you're struggling, like please speak to a medical professional or a mental health specialist, because they have the knowledge and advice to help you through this. But yeah, thank you for being here and for listening to I'll see you in the next one. The next video will be me talking about my symptoms, the signs I noticed from like my childhood to like my 20s, and like to how it was for me currently, because that's what you have to kind of look at as well and dissect it, which is a bit weird, but there are loads of patterns to it which I didn't pick up on until I did my assessment, and it's like, oh shit, I had it as a child, just didn't know, you know. So I hope it helps some of you. So yeah, that will be in the next video. And yeah, thank you for giving me the space to just be a bit vulnerable and create like a safe space to talk about things like this. Yeah. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.